Picture yourself waking up one morning in a world where you can barely walk down the street because the streets are deserted. Train rails are melting, highways are shut because of fires raging around. The sun's rays are so hot and dangerous that even taking a short walk outside can lead to death. We are not describing a movie plot. It is the reality in Europe today. Countries which previously had mild summers experienced temperature levels exceeding 40 degrees Celsius. Hospitals overflowed with patients with heat stroke. Forest fires started to spread all over the place. Crops started to die. Power systems were on their knees. The impact of this heat wave is already felt by thousands of people. According to scientists, however, this might not be a one-off situation. It might become the norm in Europe. But what is the cause of such a heat wave? Why is it different from the previous ones? Could this be a foreboding of things to come? Sit tight and find out why. Reasons behind extreme heat in Europe. In order to figure out why Europe faces such unprecedented temperatures right now, there is an urgent question to ask. Why Europe? Europe was never famous for its scorching summer climate, in contrast to the Middle East and North Africa. This continent was known for its rather moderate climate that made Europe quite suitable for living for many years. However, in the last decades, something has drastically changed. According to climate experts, Europe currently is experiencing a faster increase in temperatures compared to other continents, and twice as fast compared to the rest of the planet. In other words, every year starts for Europe from warmer conditions than the previous one. It means that current heat waves do not develop against the background of the climate of 1980 or even 2000. Now they start with the temperature level of the previous decades, which makes records more likely to be established again and again. Urban development adds to the problem. All cities have concrete buildings, asphalt roads, and glass skyscrapers that absorb heat during the daytime. As soon as the sun goes down, all those elements start emitting accumulated warmth back into the air. This is called the urban heat island effect and makes city temperatures several degrees higher compared to the surrounding areas. Another reason behind high temperatures is the change in the precipitation pattern. Drought causes the ground to get dried up and thus deprives Europe of one of the natural temperature-lowering mechanisms. Usually, wet soil helps to release water vapor into the air through evaporation. In the absence of moisture, almost the whole energy absorbed by the sun turns into the warmth of the land. As a result, Europe is facing another dangerous vicious circle. High temperatures cause drought. Drought results in even higher temperatures. And each new heat wave is even more severe than the previous one. Climate experts claim that this vicious circle becomes more and more common for southern and central Europe, transforming once-in-a-lifetime extreme weather events into a regular summer occurrence. The Europe that used to be in the past is rapidly changing now. Invisible weather death trap, heat dome. Whereas global warming creates the conditions, one particular weather phenomenon pulls the trigger. It's called a heat dome. Visualize putting an invisible lid on top of an entire continent. The warm air is held down by the high-pressure system without allowing the cold air to come in. Every day the sun heats up the ground, but there is no escape route for the heat. The heat accumulates in such cases. Usually, weather systems travel across Europe every few days, providing some clouds, rain, and cooler conditions. But when there is a heat dome, the weather does not change for days or even weeks. As the ground dries up, less energy is consumed in the process of evaporation while more heat is added to the air. Thus, a vicious circle is formed. A satellite image shows the vast dome covering the western and southern parts of Europe. That's why the temperature remained extremely high for both day and night. Europe in crisis. It was not only a heat wave in one country. The heat affected almost the entire continent. The temperature exceeded 43 degrees Celsius in Spain and Portugal. In Italy, emergency heat warnings were launched in several cities, as more and more people were admitted to hospitals suffering from heat exhaustion. France experienced unusually high temperatures in June while warning its citizens about staying inside. It was hard in Germany, Switzerland, Greece, and in the Balkans as well. Millions of Europeans found themselves living in a different reality from one day to another. Timetables for construction crews were modified. Changes were made in schools. Famous tourist places were avoided by tourists at their peak temperature times. Emergency services across Europe worked non-stop, helping the heat stroke, dehydration, and wildfires. Nature's retaliation, the heat wave, has yet another lethal repercussion: wildfires. Dryness from weeks of drought rendered entire forests of southern Europe tinderboxes. A single spark ignited huge fires, which were fought with helicopters and planes by firefighters in numbers of thousands. Some villages had to be evacuated. Plumes of smoke could even be seen hundreds of kilometers away. All the while, rivers started to shrink, reservoirs got depleted, farmers saw their crops drying due to unrelenting heat. Olives, grapes, wheat, vegetables, these all were victims. Agriculture in Europe will incur billions of euros worth of damage. Cost of food will go up even outside Europe. Is climate change making things worse? Science knows the answer with increasing certainty. Yes, climate change does not create all heat waves, but it is making heat waves more intense, longer, and more frequent. Every degree that we add to the Earth's average temperature raises the chances of extreme weather events. A 1 in 100 year phenomenon could become a once-a-decade event. The climate models predict an increase in Europe's vulnerability as long as greenhouse gas emissions proceed at the current rate. It is not just about record-breaking. It is about changing the definition of normal.